welcome to Vaders Fist again. Today we're going to talk about a little bit of Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren and what we expect in Episode 8. So, Lucas, have you start off?
So we saw like glimpses of the Knights of Ren in The Force Awakens, and it was just a little bit of like a snippet of in Rey's Force back vision. Now they're calling. So I mean, what I want to see is kind of like the gang that is in. If any of you have read the Aftermath trilogy, they have this. They're kind of like a cult. They worship Darth Vader, and they're not Sith. They're not Force sensitive people. They're just really obsessed with the dark side of the Force.
Which makes kind of sense because if you see in that scene, like if you pause it, most of them have like axes or like something you wouldn't see a Force. Because I mean, more Force sensitives will have some kind of lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
Because most non-Force sensitives can't even use a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Because it's too difficult.
It's like, wow, did we just go back to medieval times? Like, we have lightsabers and blasters. Why do you need an axe?
So that's why I'm thinking, like, they might be smarter. I think that they just... I feel like they're that cult. And then Kylo Ren, they figured out that he was Ben Solo, which is, Darth Vader's grandson. And they're like... And then, I think Snoke had a little bit to do with that. And he's like, you're Kylo Ren, you're the head of these Knights of
Ren. So, yeah. I mean, it's kind of... we don't have much. There's not really, much to go on. I mean, I would like to see them be menaceful. Is that a word? Yeah, menaceful. Sure. I want them to just be ruthless, kind of like what Vader did in Rogue One, kind of. But, I mean, obviously, Kylo or Ben Solo is going to be... They're gonna find Rey and they're gonna find Luke, and I think it's just gonna be an all-out smackdown brawl.
And one thing I feel like that's interesting is Ben's been obsessed with his grandpa for a very long time. That's very evident. But it doesn't seem like in Episode 8 that he really is going down that road because he's and at least in the scene that they show him in the trailer, this could just he could get a new mask. Who the hell knows? But he's not wearing his mask. I also want to see him be even stronger in the Force. Like in Episode 7, if you remember, he stopped a blaster with the Force, and I've never seen that before. But
we kind of did,
kind of here and there,
but not stopping it the way he did.
Not mid like 10 feet away from you. I'd also like to see him be a little bit more progression in his lightsaber skills. I feel like he's more like, unlike his grandpa and his uncle, he's more proficient in the Force, I feel like, than anything. He'd be like a Jedi counselor with like, his crystal would be green if he was on the light side.
Yeah, I mean, I want him to stop. I want him to not be wishy-washy in this movie. I want him to know what his objective is and not being follow it.
You can use the dark side, but not being so out of control. And you have to also remember he's technically a dark Jedi. He's not a Sith.
True. Yeah.
And neither is Snoke. He could just be a dark Jedi.
Yeah.
Or he's probably just a Force sensitive that uses the dark side. Because the Sith have been dead for 30 years. Once Vader changed back to Anakin, and then he killed Sidious. That was it. There's no other Sith.
Yeah.
In canon, at least.
Yeah. What we know, there could be a lot of things.
And there's also Del Toro's character that a lot of people are speculating. It could be what if like we were talking about this before we were recording. We were talking about whether Ezra turns to the dark side, and what if that's Del Toro's character? There's a little, when he had the longer hair, there's a little similarity. Maybe he'll maybe Ezra when he got older grow out a beard or something.
Who knows? They're saying he's going to be more of the character that shows up when Finn and Rose, the new chick, the Asian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they those two are gonna. I think those two are gonna be like a couple.
Yeah, kind of like your Han Solo and Leia.
Kind of, yeah. They're going to be. They go on a mission to this like kind of like it's like Las Vegas but in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And they're saying that he's gonna be more of like his character in Guardians, which was what was his guy's name? I can't think of it. It's not the Keymaster, or something like that, right?
That was the Keymaster. His character was manipulative.
Yes, he was very he had in Marvel he has almost all the Infinity Stones. He has the it's something Master. It's something Master. I can't think of it.
I can't.
But he's gonna be one of those guys. I would like to see him be either a bounty hunter or what he said, the Ezra Bridger going to the dark side thing would be pretty cool.
I also think going off of what you said about the bounty hunter, he could be sent by Captain Phasma or like someone in the First Order to go find Rey, and maybe that's how Kylo Ren finds Rey.
Maybe.
That'd be interesting.
Maybe they have a mole. That would be cool. Like having a mole, kind of like what Callus was doing for the Rebellion.
Yeah.
So The Last Jedi is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be dark for sure. It has that kind of tone.
Oh yeah.
Especially with the saying, the Jedi need to die, and we've had a little bit of discussion about that. It's kind of
whether it's a play on words or whether he really.
It could be him explaining to Rey what happened. Also, could be him saying the Jedi need to like for me, like I'm a big Legends guy, and Order 66 wasn't the first time that the Jedi Temple got sacked. The first Battle of Coruscant, it happened. They were going on the Sith Empire and the Galactic Republic were having negotiations, and then the Sith Emperor sent his best Sith Lord to basically lead this attack, and they sacked the temple. So maybe Luke has been reading up on old books or something, and maybe
he
decides
is at the first temple.
And maybe it makes sense. Maybe one of those books is, and then maybe he's developing his own code for the Grey Jedi.
I could definitely see that because he's looking back and he's seeing what was wrong with the Jedi Order when his father was.
Yeah, look at his own lineage.
I mean, if they would be allowed to have attachments, if they were great. If the Great Jedi Code was a thing, Darth Vader would never happen. No,
because he could have told Yoda and Mace Windu about these dreams, and then they could
and Obi-Wan
too. That was the problem, I think, because he couldn't reach out to anyone.
And even Obi-Wan, he probably would have been married to Duchess Satine by that point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what ifs and stuff like that. But that's the great thing about being a Star Wars fan. We can throw out these videos to get the conversation going. Yeah, so
it'll be funny to watch these videos in like 5 years and see how wrong we
actually look at there are some videos that we posted from last year, and I suggested Ewan McGregor doing an Obi-Wan. Yeah, and now everybody's talking about it.
And I think at that time they were just saying it was going to be the Rogue One and the Bounty Hunter movie.
Yeah.
So there's so much like the speculating, and then the Han Solo movie got addressed.
Yep.
There's still a lot of ideas floating around there. Like I was saying, I'd like to maybe not even a movie, maybe like a series. They're talking about like there's been Ian McDermott's been in the studio recording, and I was kind of like, well, what if it's like an Obi-Wan and Anakin adventures, and it's maybe him in his office, like scheming.
As the Chancellor,
Yeah, and like scheming and maybe watching. Because I mean, if you haven't read those comics, they're very short. There wasn't very many put into it. They're awesome.
I think they had. I think it was like a 4-issue comic.
Special,
I think I want to say.
Like that. And it's basically all it is it's probably like about 3 or 4 years after Phantom Menace, and it's just seeing Anakin progress as this Padawan, this really like top of his class, but a lot of his peers don't necessarily like him sometimes, and he's kind of arrogant, like you see, and Palpatine like will take him down to the ghetto of basically Coruscant, and you see that relationship.
See the scum and villainy, as everyone would like to say.
So like it's interesting. So I think that'd be kind of cool for like a Netflix original, or like have Dave Filoni do that kind of thing.
Make a spin-off movie.
Something like that.
You think? I don't know if it's got enough attention to be a spin-off movie.
It could be. It depends. I think it depends who you get into the movie. I think it depends who's the director.
And who's acting in it.
And yeah, a lot goes into that. But you know, I think it'd be better for a series.
Yeah, I agree.
Spin-off movie wise,
well, obviously we're getting Han Solo.
I think Han Solo would be cool. I think another cool thing might be maybe a Darth Vader spin-off movie too. Would be kind of cool, interesting.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff out now that you can just. I know people, the general public, the general only movie-going Star Wars fans would want to see that, but for the people that are up to date on kind of what's going on with Star Wars,
new Vader comics are coming out.
Yeah, and we'll have
a couple weeks.
We'll have reviews on those when they come out. So every month we'll have dedicated a video to just that comic and what we thought and all that stuff.
I think the thing that's gonna be interesting about these ones is like you saw Vader like after A New Hope, and I mean that was really cool. But I think what me and him are really interested in is it's gonna literally start probably like that scene where Vader has his arms crossed right next to Palpatine and is watching the Death Star with his master. I think it's gonna start like right there.
They did Marvel they were at some convention. I can't remember what it was. And this is from Star Wars Newsnet, I think, or maybe it was MakingStarWars.com, but both sites are very reliable in their sources, and they are great source read materials for Star Wars fans. But they were talking about how they gave a little snippet of what's going on, and the first scene of the comic is right after he gets the suit on, like seconds after
so kind of like what he's
thinking, but everybody hates the whole no. But what I read from the article is that it's gonna change that dynamic of that scene from the movies forever because of the insight we're gonna get with his thoughts and stuff like that.
Right.
So.
Like one thing a lot of people don't know is that suit was actually very painful for him, and it was intentional because there was technology. I mean, there's like pictures of what Vader's new suit would have looked like, and his suit wasn't really that good. His limbs hurted his stubs on his legs, especially. It was tight and compressed. Obviously, he couldn't use Force Lightning, which he was capable of it eventually. Mm-hmm. And it was just it was a failsafe in case Palpatine needed to use it. So it'd be kind of interesting to see what his thoughts are, maybe how uncomfortable and like why his master is doing this to him.
That and how he gets his red lightsaber, and I would love to see Thrawn or Tarkin show up in this comic. Give us a little bit more on...
Especially Tarkin, just because of how good a relationship they had as Anakin and Thrawn.
But the problem with Thrawn showing up is that he's not... I have to read up on it. I think he's look that up. I don't know if he's in the Empire at that time
think
or if it's 5 years after the Empire is established and then he is introduced.
Well, maybe
I think it might be
comic.
that. But
I mean, who knows? This comic could be 5 years.
Yeah, I would love to see. Well, I think it's going to be a year. It's going to start from June. From June and then end in June.
I'm saying like in the comic itself. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a year actually.
It's gonna be a year.
But I mean, like issue 1 could be issue 1 to issue 5 could be a year, and then 5 to like 10 could be another year. Like, you know, it just depends.
Break it up.
Right. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm really excited for that one because I'm interested to see what Anakin or Vader was like from like 30 to 40.
Yeah, what the dynamic was.
Yeah, and how much better he was with how faster he was. You know, he's a lot younger than we see in Rebels and all the old trilogy. So and Rogue One. So
yeah. Well, guys, I think that's all that we got for right now. You can follow us on our social media. You can follow me at Lord Vader 2123 on Twitter, and the official Sith Council Twitter page, which is at Sith Council 2310. And you can find Poulos on.
You can find me on Facebook. I don't have my Twitter anymore. It's just George Poulos, Poulos, and and I'm also like I said before, I keep update on the Sith Council Twitter, and
On that note, may the Force be with you always.
Peace out, guys. Have a great day.